Good morning, everyone. This is Ellen, and she is one of our prettiest historic reenactors. She's going to talk about Charlotte today.
Yes, yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit about the women of Bent's Fort because I think oftentimes a lot of them are overlooked. And two, I think a lot of people don't imagine women as being an important part of the fur trade since it's often seen as this very like hyper masculine thing where those adventurous young men go out and trap and hunt and uh, bring home all these furs. But the women of the fur trade are just as important. They're often kind of hidden in the background a little bit. So one of those women that you would have seen here in the fort would have been Charlotte. And so Charlotte was an enslaved person brought over here to Bent's Fort from Missouri by the Bent family. Since this is the time before the Civil War, we're in the antebellum period where slavery is still legal in many states. And so, Missouri being one of those states where it's legal, the Bent family, no sugarcoating it. They own other human beings, at least in the eyes of the law. And so they bring Charlotte and her husband to Bent's Fort to work. So Charlotte would have been working in the kitchen that you see here quite a bit, actually standing on these very hearthstones that I'm standing on, since we know that these stones are actually original to the fort, where everything else that you see around the fort is reconstructed. Um, but her job here would have been a lot of cooking, most likely. Um, and we also know just a little bit of her life through the recollections left behind by some visitors or employees of the fort. So there's one journalist that I can't remember the name of, but he wrote about how Charlotte was known for making wonderful pumpkin pies and also for known for being a good dancer. Um, so those are some of the recollections that we know of Charlotte. But again, those are words coming from other people, so kind of outsiders, and we don't actually have any words of her own really left behind, unfortunately. So she's kind of a hidden figure here at the fort, as are many of the other women who would have been here. Um, but she is probably one of the most notable women that people often reference when they talk about the women of the fort. Other names you might hear are Susan McGoffin. She was a wealthy traveler who came through Bent's Fort for about 2 weeks in 1846. Owl Woman, she was an important Cheyenne woman who married William Bent and kind of solidified some of the close ties that these Americans at Bent's Fort made to the Cheyenne tribe and their allied tribes like the Arapaho. Um, but yeah, that's just a little bit about Charlotte, a little bit about who she was, from what other people have said about her, since we unfortunately don't have her own words. But
Wonderful. Thank you, Ellen.
you're welcome.
Bye.